Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today's video is super exciting because it is a collab with my friend Amanda, or Ayyyeeeitsamanda, which is the name of her channel. I will have her channel plus her video linked down below in the description box. We were coming up with an idea for this video and we landed upon 5 of our favorite products from our 5 favorite brands. I love it. It's super simple, straight to the point. And because I'm cruelty free, I thought it would be a great opportunity to showcase some of my favorites for anyone looking to get into the cruelty free lifestyle. Amanda and I have been friends for at least a year now. She is so kind, so sweet, so supportive, and I definitely recommend you checking her out after this video. If you're visiting from Amanda's channel, hello, hi, welcome. I hope you consider sticking around. Go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up if you're excited for it, if you want to see me do more collabs, and let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna be honest, it feels really strange filming. I tried to film this video yesterday 3 separate times and I got so distracted. There's so much going on right now. Obviously, there's so much uncertainty and so much that we just don't know. With that said, I am going to continue to post my normal content, and I know it seems silly to just continue to talk about makeup, but I know for me, myself, I need some kind of distraction right now, and I'm hoping to provide that for you. I don't want that to come off as that I don't care or that I don't realize what's actually going on right now. I totally do, but to keep me sane and to help you guys, hopefully to give a little bit of entertainment, I'm just going to keep talking about the normal stuff that I always do, and I hope that's okay with you. I'm someone who can easily spiral and go to the worst of every situation. Plan for the worst, hope for the best. That's kind of what I live by, and I am prone to very anxious thoughts, and right now I just know that I need to keep my mind off of things, stay informed and stay in the know, but try not to get too ahead of myself and just take things day by day, because that's really all we can do right now. So with that being said, there really is no easy transition here. The 5 brands that I selected, it was very easy for me to choose. I really didn't have to put too much thought into it. These 5 brands are generally unproblematic right now. Obviously, things can change. I'm excited for their new launches. They're the ones that once they release something, my curiosity is piqued. And also, I find them to be the most consistent. I may not love every single product I've ever tried from the brand, but for the most part, they don't disappoint me and they make some of my favorites. I also forgot to mention too, when I was coming up with the products, I kept going to very broad terms. So spoiler alert, Hourglass is one of the brands, and in my mind, I just thought all blushes. I'm not doing that. I made myself pick just one product. So there may be some duplicates of formulations, but I really just wanted to stick to 5 products from the brand. So starting with brand number 1, Milk Makeup. No surprises here. If you look at my description box, regularly Milk Makeup is there, especially the Milk Kush Fiber Brow Gel. I wear this on an everyday basis and I really can't live without it. I sometimes will pair it with a pomade or a pencil, but on the everyday, the regular, this is all I wear. So it's what I have on now. I have tried so many other brow mascaras before this one and after this one, and nothing really compares to it. The Glossier Boy Brow is a really popular one, but I really like just the bristles on here and the brush on here. It's small enough that I can really get in and do some detail and kind of mimic brow hairs, but it's not so small that it takes me forever to do my brows. So the way I like to use this is I will back comb first, and that is a tip I saw from Jay Kissa, and then I go through and kind of put my hairs back into place, and then I will take whatever is left on the brush and put it up in the front just for some dimension. This one is in the shade Dub, which is like a warm, almost reddy kind of brown. I really wish they would have one that was a little bit more red, but this will do for now. Another thing to note is that it never gets flaky, and also like the bristles aren't so hard that it flakes up my dry skin. I do have very dry skin, particularly in my brow area and then also on my forehead, so it's not so hard that it's bringing some of that up. I just think it disperses the perfect amount of color to get a very natural looking brow, and I truly cannot live without this product. Product number 2, the Long Wear Eyeliner. This stuff is just fabulous. Like many of you, I have tried so many black liners over the years. I think it was like the first thing I was allowed to wear. Don't ask me why, because you can really get some really edgy looks just using liner. I think it was 8th grade that I was allowed to start wearing liner. But I've tried so many throughout the years, and you know how it goes. A lot of them dissipate on the waterline. They run down your face. The Urban Decay one, that's a cult favorite, the 24/7, that one always runs on my waterline, like to the point that it's all down here by the end of the day. This does not do that. They make 5 or 6 different colors. I have 2 others. I also have CEO, which is the brown shade, and then I have BCC, which is like a nude for me kind of shade. This one is Boss. It's just a matte black. You get your standard liner that twists up, and then this part pulls off and does have a smudger as well. I don't often use it on my lash line. I do just strictly use it on my waterline because it really does help give me that pigment. If I'm gonna do something on my lash line, it's usually just a different cheap black liner, or I will use a liquid liner. But my 2 favorite points about this one, I would just say number 1, the staying power. It lasts at least 5 hours on my waterline before I have to touch it up, and it never runs and goes down my face like I mentioned with the other ones. And then number 2 is it's very creamy and it never feels like it's tugging on my waterline, but it's not so creamy that the tip breaks off, which has happened with other liners that I have used. So definitely recommend this one if you haven't tried it out before. Mascara, the Kush mascara. This was hyped and shown all over the place when this first launched, and for good reason. I purposefully did not wear lashes today so you guys could see what it looked like on its own, and I'll zoom you in. It gives me just enough definition and fullness without getting clumpy. Other mascaras that I have used like this with a wand that is this big generally do make my lashes clump up and stick together, and this one doesn't do it. It separates my lashes really nicely while giving me that fullness that I do need. It's also pretty conditioning. I don't feel like my lashes are ripping out when I do take it off. And then another thing to say about this one, my Holy Grail mascara, like one of my original ones, was the Too Faced Better Than Sex. If you've used that, you know how dirty it gets around the component. You can see that this one has barely anything around it, just a couple little dots. But I've had this since the launch and it hasn't dried out. If you've used the Better Than Sex, I feel like it usually happens with that formula. Next, I have a bronzer, and I am not one who goes to cream products except for blushes. I do like cream blushes. This is the Baked bronzer. Actually, I think it's called Matte Bronzer. It's in the shade Baked. I particularly like this one because it's light enough that I can build it up, and that's how I prefer pretty much all of my makeup. I'm not so skilled that I can just go on with something that's really heavily pigmented and figure it out. I need something that I can build up and make work for me. So this one I actually have on now, and I did 2 coats of it. So you can see how light this formula is, especially when you just compare it to this. I just do a tiny bit and then I blend it out with my damp beauty blender, and then I will do it again if I need a little bit more. I'll take whatever is left on my sponge. I don't use beauty blender, I use the Real Techniques, but I'll take whatever is left and I'll put it around my forehead or anywhere where I want to look a little bit sun-kissed. My only gripe about this, it comes with this little plastic cap. I have kept it on there because I don't know what'll happen if I take it off. I fear that it may dry out, but sometimes it's on there like tight enough that if I take it off, I can get product left in the cap. I'll show you guys, and it gets pretty messy underneath the fingernails, so I'm losing some product. I could just use my sponge and get that out, but it doesn't look very nice. And the last product from Milk, this is a little bit of a cheat because it is skincare, but perfect makeup starts with a great hydrated base. This is the Milk Vegan Moisturizer, and it's pretty new to my collection as it is a new release, but I love it so much and I haven't told you guys about it yet, so I wanted to. Funny thing, Milk sent out an email, I want to say it was maybe 3 weeks ago, and it was 25% off for their friends and family sale. Also, if you spent $65, you get a free tote plus the Green Dragon lip balm, which I already wanted to try. So you know I was going to spend that $65, which I did. I had a sample of this and I hadn't touched it because I was doing my ordinary long haul, but I went ahead and just added it to my cart anyway. And then once I hit my payment confirmation, I was like, you should go try that sample, see if you're actually going to like it. So I put it on, and I kid you not, 12 hours later, it was a no makeup day. I was just wearing the moisturizer. My skin still felt hydrated and I knew I was going to love this, but that's what it looks like. It is a pretty thick cream. Like that's probably about the amount that I use for my whole face. But for me, someone who has super dry skin, I need something like this that's thick and balmy without feeling too greasy. It has a very light scent. I saw on Sephora's website under reviews that someone said it smells like mildew. I don't get that at all. It's very light smelling. It smells just like skincare. There's nothing weird or offensive about it, at least not to me. I did keep the packaging here. I could easily pull it up on the website, but just so I can tell you what's in it. It says it has moisturizers like desert milk. It softens and soothes with vitamin-rich fig milk and shea butter, and it protects with argan milk, grapeseed oil, and olive-derived squalane, which help to seal in moisture. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite moisturizers. I kind of want to try out the cleanser, but just because of the price point, I'm hesitant. So if you've tried it, let me know if you like it. The packaging makes me so happy to see in my bathroom, and just for the hydration factor. If you have dry skin, maybe try a sample of it, see if you like it, because it's done really good things for my skin. So far, I should say. Next brand I have is Hourglass. They're a brand that I put off trying for a long time just because of the price point. I also assumed that they weren't cruelty free. I want to mention they are, but their parent company is not, which is Unilever. Some people who are cruelty free won't purchase from brands whose parent companies aren't, so I definitely wanted to include that note in here. But they're a brand that I put off trying for a while, and once I did, it got dangerous because I love so many of their products and they have very rarely disappointed me. I think the first product I ever tried from them was the Vanish Stick Foundation, and I do love that, but I haven't reached for it in a while. So the 5 products that I've chosen from them, the first one I want to talk about is the Veil Translucent Setting Powder. I don't set my makeup as much as I used to. I still will do a little bit under my eyes and then always on my smile lines. The reason why this gets my stamp of approval is because the powder in here is so finely milled that it doesn't look like you're wearing powder at all. It never looks cakey, especially under my eyes where that can happen pretty quickly. This is what the component looks like for any of you who haven't seen it. You just shake out your powder into the little cap. This is something that I will continue to purchase. I have so many other translucent setting powders, and because I rarely use them, it does take me a long time to go through. Hourglass blushes. There is nothing like it. They look so skin-like and so natural. They give you a luminosity, but they never look shimmery or glittery. The one, it was so hard to narrow this down. My favorite though of all of them is Mood Exposure, and that's what I'm wearing today. It's pinky with a little bit of mauve. These blushes are so unique and they have that marbleized finish inside the compact. It's really hard to tell what they're gonna look like until you put them on, which can make them a little bit deceiving. I think it looks a little bit more pink on than it does in the pan. And even if I just swatch this, it's not gonna look the same that it does on my cheek. But I am obsessed with blush. It is one of those things in my collection. I could have so many different blushes and really never be satisfied. It's fun to change them up, but Hourglass is the one that I just easily gravitate towards. This one sits in my favorites drawer. I have all of my vanity over here and I have everything separated out into categories, but then I have a top drawer of all my favorites, and that's where this one lives. Another thing that lives there is this palette, and this is limited edition, and I'm sorry to include a limited edition product. This is the Ambient Edit Volume 4. I've had this since I think 2018. It was around the holidays that I purchased this, and it looks like I barely touched it, but I promise you I have used this so much, especially the 2 blushes on the bottom. I have to turn this around because this is backwards. This has 2 of the finishing powders. It has dim light and then diffuse light. Those I use the least amount. Sometimes I'll throw one of them underneath my eyes, but I don't remember to use them very often. It also has a highlight. This highlight is very subtle. I don't often use it on my cheeks, but where I will use it is underneath my brow bone. If I just want a little bit of light and dimension, I will also use it on my Cupid's bow just for a very subtle glow, and then on my nose as well. The things I use the most from here are the bronzer. This is a very light bronzer that I can build up, and then the blushes. I love both of these. The first one is Luminous Glow, and then the strobe blush is the Euphoric Fusion. I will swatch both of those, but again, they aren't going to look the same as they do on my cheek. Luminous Glow and then Euphoric Fusion. Just gorgeous. I can't get enough of this formulation. I did also buy the Ghost Edit quad that came out during this holiday. I still reach for this palette more. I do enjoy that one, but this is like my mainstay. I also really love it for traveling. This is pretty heavy duty, so I don't fear that anything's going to break inside of here, especially with the price point. My favorite face palette in my entire collection. And then I have a brow gel. This is kind of recent to me. I purchased this, I'd say maybe 2 months ago. This one wand is also pretty unique. It has two different sizes of bristles, like two different sides. One are shorter and a little bit stubbier, and then you have the longer ones. I use the longer ones up in here to give that natural fluffed out look, and then I will use the shorter side in here to get it a little more structured towards my tail. What I like about this, I'm going to compare it to the ABH one just because that's one a lot of people have tried. This isn't so firm that my brows don't move. They still look natural and I still have some room to play even once they're set, but it keeps them in place, and that's all I can really ask for from a brow gel. Now I know I said I made myself pick just one, but I do have 4 of the scattered light shadows from Hourglass. These are stunning. I'm wearing one of them on my eyes today in here. I think this is the one that's called Blaze. I chose all 4 to show you guys, and then I'm gonna make myself pick one. Again, they have a cap that I am keeping in here. I don't want them to dry out. Vivid, which I think is the last one I purchased, and this one is like an olive green. Reflect, which is a champagne gold. Blaze, which is the one I'm wearing today. I think this one's my favorite. And then Smoke, which is a pewter. I think this is the first one I purchased. So there's all 4. They're stunning. I can't get enough. I can't remember how many shades of them they make now. I have to keep myself from buying more of these. They perform best wet or with a finger, and they do have some fallout. I always do my eye makeup first, so that's not that big of an issue for me, but just in case you do your base first. Next would be my Desert Island makeup brand. Like if I had to choose one makeup brand that I could buy from forever, it would be Colourpop. As much as I love these other brands, Colourpop pushes out so much stuff and there's so much variety that I would never get bored. Sometimes it's too much, I know. They go a little crazy with the launches. I just try to ignore it and really just buy when something piques my interest. So the 5 products I chose, this one, they're gorgeous. If you haven't tried one of the Super Shock highlighters, they're absolutely stunning. I put it on today. Look at that. It's blinding. It's so pretty. I'm obsessed with this highlighter. This one is Flexitarian. I have one other, I think it's Monster, and that one has a pink reflect to it, but this one, this ivory shade, one of my favorite highlighters, hands down. If you haven't tried the Super Shock formula, and it's the same thing goes for their eyeshadow, it doesn't apply that well with a brush. You have to use a damp beauty blender. I've actually hit pan on this, so you just tap your sponge in here. I go very lightly onto my cheek. I find that if I press too hard, it'll pick up my makeup, and then we don't want that to happen. So just the lightest amount of pressure. Doesn't take super long to get that blinding highlight. You don't have to build them up. You get full pigment right away. So just go in small increments. Another part of the Super Shock family, but this is an eyeshadow, and this is Ladybird. I own maybe 10 of the Super Shock formulations, but this is one of my favorites and one of my go-tos. I did put it on today just because I kind of wanted to show what it looked like on the lid. You can see that ivory kind of white on the middle of my lid. I think I even got some blue in there today. But again, super soft. These feel so strange. They're soft and a little bit wet. Again, you can't really pick up much of this on your brush. You have to use your finger or use a damp brush. But that is what that looks like. Ugh. Obsessed. I can pair this with really any other eyeshadow color. It's gonna make it stand out. It's gonna make it look great. The second I swatched this one in Ulta, I knew I was a goner and that I had to have it. Super Shock shadows always make me laugh because I did one of the first ever full face of a brand makeup videos that I did was Colourpop. I had never tried anything from them, and that was just in 2018. So they've quickly become one of my favorite brands. But when I first tried to use them in that video, I think I had like 5 different Super Shock shadows. I tried to use them with a dry brush and I didn't understand why they weren't going on. No Filter Concealer. I own 3 of these. I think the shade, it's the Fair 08. That's what I mostly use if I'm gonna wear this underneath my eyes. It is mattifying, so I don't wear it there often. What I usually use this for is a base to my eyeshadow. Because I had 3 of them, I thought it would be an easy way to use this product up, but I actually really like the way that it holds on to my makeup. It holds on to my eyeshadow. It's creamy enough that it provides a nice base and just a little bit of pigment to get rid of any kind of redness or anything I have around my eyes. I like it the most because of the price point. I wouldn't personally want to use a more expensive concealer just to use as an eyeshadow base or to cut my crease. And even though I don't wear wear it under my eyes that often. I just have really dry under eyes, but I will use it to conceal certain areas on my face or to lighten certain areas up. And then I have a Lippie pencil or a lip liner. This one is in the shade Another Round. I think it's just a perfect nude with a little bit more. You can see it leans a little bit more. Sometimes it's pinky looking and then sometimes it's more peachy looking, just depending on what I compare it with. And for me, that means I compare it with so many other things. I have it on today with something else that I'm about to show. Again, just like the Milk liner, it's creamy. It doesn't drag on my lips, but it's not so soft that the tip breaks off, which is really important when it comes to liners because you don't want to be wasting your money. I would love to try out more shades of these. I think I may have one other one. If you have any suggestions for me, let me know which ones you love. And then lastly, from Colourpop, this also is fairly new to my collection. This is the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Setting Mist. You can tell I've been using it quite a bit and I have like 15 setting sprays open. It looks like juice. It looks like just something healthy and delicious for your skin. I'm gonna put some on now because I feel like my skin could need it. But it's a really fine mist and it has a really nice spray radius. I feel like I don't have to spray too much of it to actually cover my face, and it feels really light. It doesn't feel like I just soaked my skin despite how much I just sprayed on. It doesn't feel like my skin is drenched. I like to use two different setting kind of sprays. I will always use one that is more hydrating and then one that has more staying power, like the Urban Decay one or Skindinavia's, but this one is what I've been reaching for lately and I really enjoy it. Brand number 4 would be Fenty. We all know when they first released those 40 foundation shades, we knew that they did not come to play. And now every other brand has followed suit. But I was watching, I think it was Smokey Glow's video. She was talking about celebrity makeup lines and she made a really good point. Rihanna has done a great job, and I don't know if disassociating is the right word, but Fenty stands alone from Rihanna. It's not Rihanna's line Fenty, it's just Fenty. And I would agree with that point that she made. Getting into the products, this one gets a little redundant. It's all lip products for the most part. I think I have one thing that's complexion. There's a lot of other products I would like to try from Fenty. If you guys saw those new cream blushes, I know I'm going to be buying at least 2 of them. They look so nice. I have her bronzer on my wish list. I have so many things that I want to try from Fenty, but I think they do lips really well. One of my favorite liquid lipstick formulations, and I say this all the time, but I don't wear liquid lipstick like I used to, but I still reach for both of these. I have 5 of this formulation, the Stunna Lip Paint. These 2 are the ones that I most wear and I feel like go well with a lot of different makeup looks that I do. One's a little bit more cool and then one's a little bit more warm. This is what I have on today. It's Unbutton and it's just a beautiful peachy nude. Again, I paired it over that Colourpop liner that I said. So it's going to look a little bit different on the swatch. And then Uncuffed, which is like a rosy mauve. 2 things to note about this formulation. It is very thin, thinner than any other liquid lipstick that I've ever used, which I think is why it wears so well. And it doesn't get that like, you know, that buildup that you get on your lips when you've been wearing liquid lipstick for hours. You don't feel that as quickly. It is matte and it can be drying, but you don't get like that gross feel on your lips, I think because of the thinness. But you have to be careful with this. I really wipe off the excess before going in with this and I build it up. I pretty much always apply 2 layers of this one, even when I do wear it over lip liner like I did today. I love the rounded tip on here as well. It makes it really easy to get around my Cupid's bow, and it's slightly curved, which follows the natural shape of your lip. I wanted to show you guys too. These have been on for like a minute at least, and they're still a little bit wet. So you do have to give them time to dry down. And I'll usually do that before going into that second layer. Next, I have a lipstick. This is the only one I've tried. I would love to try out more. I think it's called Mattemoiselle Plush Lips. I'll have it down here. I can't remember what they're called. The reason why I have to give this a shout out is because it's blue. And I have never found, I don't know if unconventional is the right word, but I've never found like a bright, bold color that looks so good on me. I haven't tried it with this hair color. I don't know how it would pair, but I'll insert a picture here of me with red hair. It brightens up my skin. It's like a periwinkle kind of blue. And I just think it's stunning. And because the fact that I can get away with wearing it, that I can pull it off, I have to mention it. These are creamy. They are matte, but I wouldn't say they're super drying either. And I've had this for a while and it's not drying out at all. And next I have everyone's obsession, the Gloss Bombs. I own these too. And then I also bought the kit around the holidays. I still reach for these more. I probably should take them out of the tin and then I would use them more often. It's even collecting a little bit of dust right now. I really want the new one, the glass slipper, the the one that's just totally clear. But the two I have Fenty Glow, and then I also have Diamond Milk, and I'm going to swatch them. Fenty Glow and then Diamond Milk, and they're both gorgeous, but the one I think I use the most is the Fenty Glow, so I'm going to say that one's my favorite. Just the right amount of shine and shimmer without being too much. Sometimes I'll put them just in the center of my lips, or sometimes I'll put them all over. It is a little bit sticky, but not so sticky that I can't stand it, and it smells like strawberries. I really enjoy the scent of these, and I am probably going to be buying more. Like I said, that clear one, I think when the Sephora VIB sale comes up, I think that's gonna happen in April, I will probably be adding that one to my cart. And then the only product I have that is not a lip product is the Fenty Match Sticks. This one is in Amber. It's a cool contour stick. I rarely contour, but when I do, this is the only thing that I will use. It's so light, again, because I'm not that confident in my skills, it's so light that I can build it, which is really important to me. If I draw too much of it on, or what looks like too much, I can easily blend it out, and often I have to do another stroke, which is fine with me. I love being able to build up my product. I will show just what it looks like on my hand. I'm getting over knuckle there, so it's not going on so smoothly. So it blends out really nicely. It never looks patchy. It works well with anything else that I pair it with. Another thing to note with these two is the packaging. I have heard that these are magnetic. I don't own another one to test that out, but if you're a makeup artist or you travel a lot, that could be really helpful. And the last brand, another celebrity makeup line. If you watch me regularly, you should be able to guess what it is. It's Flower Beauty, Drew Barrymore's makeup line. I did a full face testing out Flower Beauty. I want to say that was last spring, and I found so many favorites in that video. Don't sleep on the brand if you haven't tried it yet. My Ulta sadly just got rid of Flower Beauty a couple months ago. I still think you can find them at Walmart, but I haven't been there to actually check. But there are some products here that I am going to be going onto the Flower Beauty website to purchase more, and that's saying something, because usually if I can't get it from Ulta or Sephora, I'm not going to get it at all. So the first one I want to talk about is the Light Illusion Concealer. If you look at my description box, all of last year, pretty much since trying this product, it is the only concealer that I reach for. I love the way it makes my under eyes look. It gives me enough coverage that it covers up some of my dark circles, but it doesn't make it so light under there that it looks fake or that I'm wearing a lot of makeup. My shade is in the shade Fair. This is really creamy. I never have to set it. I did today just to be a little extra and to use that Hourglass Veil setting powder, but for the most part, I never have to set this concealer. The shade range is not great. I always have to mention that with this concealer, and then also with the foundation. I do believe they have a couple more shades online, but I would really love to see them expand that. And then I also wanted to include the Light Illusion Foundation. I'm wearing it on my skin today. It gives you a really luminous, natural kind of finish. It is one that I have to build up, which I do like with my foundations. I don't often wear like super full coverage foundations. If I want more coverage in certain areas, I will add that. I usually apply this one with a sponge just because I like it more than with a brush. Sometimes I will also just pair this with an oil if I really want to sheer it out and wear it more like a tinted moisturizer. I think that looks nice too. And this one is in the shade Ivory. For products number 3 and 4, I have 2 lipsticks, and these are also a different formula. They are the Petal Pout lipsticks, but one is matte and one is in the cream formulation. This first one I'm gonna swatch is called Cinnamon Crush. It's a lovely everyday kind of color, especially for fall and winter. And then the cream one, and this one I do reach for a little bit more. And then Spice Petal, I love both of these shades. I reach for them pretty often, and I knew I had to include them. And then I saved the best for last. These are the Blush Bomb Color Drops. Again, I have 3. I'm going to make myself choose one of them. If you have a fear of cream products, especially cream blushes, you have to pick these up because they perform unlike any other cream blush I've tried. The way I apply these is I will just do dots on my skin wherever I want it, and then I will use my damp sponge to blend it out. Have to build these up. I like that. I don't want to get like a bright coral on my cheek right away. I want to be able to build up that gradual color so that it looks more natural. But what makes these unique, a lot of other cream blushes I've tried break up my makeup and they start to settle and they don't look quite right. This one just almost like absorbs into your skin like skincare would. They just look really natural. So this first shade I have here is Nectar. I'm gonna do 2 drops of each one. And that's what that looks like, just with the finger, and then blend it out. So you can see how quickly that starts to just fade into the skin. And then I have Pinched. These may overlap a little bit, but I just want to show you what they look like just with the finger. and then with a sponge. And then the last one, the brightest one I have is Melon. I think they make 6 of these. Lucy, you having a bad dream? Blended with my finger. I definitely got too much of that one, but you guys see what I mean. I think my one that's my favorite, and I lost it a little bit, would be the middle one, the Pinched. That's the one that I reach for the most often. It just adds a little bit of warmth to my cheeks. Highly recommend this blush formula if you have not tried it. All right, guys, that is my 5 from 5. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've tried any of the products that I mentioned, let me know your thoughts on them. If there's a product that I missed from one of these brands, if there's something that you think I should try out, do let me know in the comments. I cannot wait to see what Amanda chose for her video. I am eagerly anticipating seeing her choices. If you enjoyed this video, please do go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see me and more of my remarks, please go ahead and subscribe. I thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you soon.